Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about the Expanse Season 5, Episode 8. We are getting there. We are almost done with this season, which I have really enjoyed. This episode is probably one of my favorites, solely because we get a lot of Drummer, who I love, and a lot of Naomi just being resourceful. The way episode 7 ended was insane. It was driving me crazy. I was like, I need more immediately, right now. So before I get into this, full warning, you guys, this is going to have major spoilers. I do touch on every major plot point in my recap of this episode. So I am going to discuss the episode in full, and then I will give you my thoughts on it at the end. So just be warned, if you haven't already watched the episode, wait and come back after you have. I don't want you to be spoiled. So let's get into it. The Expanse Season 5, Episode 8, Hard Vacuum.
Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
Okay, so this episode starts off on Earth. We see Amos and Clarissa, and as we know, they're heading to Baltimore. Something I love about this part is that you get to see Earth and like the aftermath of Marco's attack, right? It's crazy because there's some stuff underwater, there's stuff that's already got like growth on it, and it's a desolate Earth. It really is. They're not seeing anybody around, and I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic type movies and shows, so I loved getting this little aspect of it. I thought it was great, and it shows really what he did to Earth, and you know, it's devastating, absolutely devastating. So as they're going along, they take a break at like an old folks home, and then they discover bodies, like lots and lots of old people bodies wrapped up in tarps, and it's very clear that the people that could escape did, and before they did, they killed the ones who wouldn't be able to go with them, which they kind of discussed and said hopefully it was an act of kindness, which hopefully it was an act of kindness, not so much I don't want these people to slow me down, more like these people aren't going to make it, let me, peacefully kill them. That sounds awful, but hopefully that's what happened. But as they're there, they start to realize and discuss that they can't be on Earth. They can't stay on Earth. They have to leave. They have to get back up into space. They want to go to Luna. And Clarissa mentions that she knows where there is a ship they can use. However, it won't be easy to get to, and they will need some help. And Amos you can tell he has an idea, and I immediately knew right then, they are going to go to Baltimore, but he's going to ask Eric for help, which we do find out later in the episode. Clarissa has also mentioned that the blockers have worked their way through her system. She has her appetite back and she's feeling much better. So that's very good news. Now we cut to Marco and his ship, and he's paying his respects to Sin, who died, as we know, going after Naomi, thinking Naomi was going to kill herself when she goes out the airlock, and he ends up dying. Marco is asking Philip what happened, tell me the whole story. Philip explains what he saw, and he's saying that basically Naomi killed Sin, and then Marco looks at him and says, no, you did, implying that, you brought your mom onto this ship. I didn't want her here. Then we were going to kill her, and you said no. So, like, this is on you, is what he's basically saying to Philip, which, gosh, Marco is so manipulative, and I don't like him, and I really don't like what he does to his son to turn his son against his mother. He's just clearly got problems, but that's something for another day. I just really don't like Marco, and I hate that he said that, and he put that all on Philip. That should not be on a kid's shoulders. That was awful. So now we get to Naomi, who wakes up aboard her ship. She's clearly in a lot of pain. I mean, she was exposed to the space. She's vomiting. She's a mess. She's having a hard time. Her face is like kind of all messed up. And she immediately is trying to work the comms, trying to figure something out on the ship, go to the controls. Well, she's locked out of the controls. She's locked out of the comms. And then she hears something repeating. And it's actually the message that Marco has planted, right? Saying along the lines of, I am Naomi Nagata, and I am on my ship, and I tell James Holden I am in distress. I have no control, but please respond, or something along those lines, right? Because she is locked out of the comms. She can receive, but she cannot transmit. So this is what I love most about this episode is we get a lot of her trying to be resourceful, and she's trying to find pieces and salvage things. I mean, there's wires cut all over the ship. They've made it so that it's useless. She can't do anything with it. It's basically a floating bomb, but she's trying to, and she's trying to figure stuff out. She eventually is able to record a second message saying basically, you know, that message is a lie. Do not come for me. I am here. I am alive. Do not come for me. This ship is a bomb. And says, I don't know if this is going to work, but if it does, please respond that you get it. And she sends that out there too. So now we've got this automated distress signal. Plus we've got this other Naomi telling, you know, people to stay away because she doesn't want her friends to get her, of course. She's doing this for her friends. So hopefully that is the message that people will receive, but we shall find out later. Now we go to the Rossi, and if you remember in the last episode, the ship that was carrying the protomolecule blew itself up. So they are completing scans, they are looking for the protomolecule, and they can't find it. I don't think that it's this easy. I really don't. I'm sure the protomolecule is going to come back into play eventually. Maybe not this season, maybe next season, maybe in the finale. I'm not sure. But I can't imagine that it was just that easy to get rid of the final protomolecule sample. And if it was, I'm infuriated, and I think that's dumb. And so I hope that isn't what happened. I really, truly don't think it is. I'm sure it's going to be back. But Holden decides that they're going to plot a course to the Razorback to meet up with Alex and Bobby. And as he's saying this, he actually gets a message from the Razorback from Alex saying, hey, we got an emergency distress signal from Naomi's ship. We found her. We're going to get her. We're going as fast as we can. Don't you worry. So they found the planted message, the one from Marco, you know, saying that she's in distress. Not good, guys. Not good. And in fact, listen, this is what happens. They find it. They record a message. Alex records a message, sends it back to Naomi so she can hear it. She can hear that Alex says, hey, we're burning rubber. Like, we're going to get to you. Don't you worry. And of course, that's devastating to Naomi because she knows her friends are coming in for a trap. Now we can cut to Drummer. Now we did get a lot of Drummer in this episode, which like I love Drummer from the moment that Drummer came into this show. I loved Drummer and Ashford. Rest in peace, Ashford. But we get a lot of awesome Drummer. So first off, they're like salvaging a ship or scavenging a ship, I should say, and they realize that this is a ship from the faction that had voted yes to spacing Marco way back when. And so, but they're all dead. So, you know, Naomi's kind of like, well, Marco just kills anyone who will defy him. Of course, Carol, who was from Marco's crew, you know how they switched crew members. She explains, listen, no, they got the same offer you got. They said no. Marco let them go in peace. Then they attacked some skiffs that were loyal to Marco, and then Marco retaliated. Not sure I believe that whole story. I don't think Marco's the type to let people peacefully go. I wouldn't be surprised if he told his crew that and then pretended they, or maybe he attacked the skiff and said it was them. I don't know. Or just said they did it so that he could kill him. Maybe. I don't know. I don't trust Marco. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. So I don't think that that's really exactly what happened. But that's the story that Carol chooses to tell. So, of course, Drummer is still very upset that she's working with Marco. She feels like she has sold her soul to the devil. And she's talking with Oksana, who says, listen, this would be us if we hadn't accepted. Like, do you realize that? They were going to come kill us. So we had no choice. You did this to protect us. Now we're at Luna, and we see the new Secretary General, David Pastor, giving a speech that he is accepting it. He has Avasarela and Felix at his side in his cabinet, and he is very thankful to have them. He mentions how they saved many lives on Earth. They did the best that they could when they had them, you know, you remember the whole thing. So it's great that he's giving them credit publicly for that, and he's inviting them into their cabinet, which we did already know, but he is saying that out to everybody. He also mentions that he has started the biggest manhunt that they've ever had. They are going to find Marco and his allies, and they are going to destroy him because he is a terrorist and he will not get away with what he has done to Earth. Then we cut back to Amos and Clarissa, who have made it to Baltimore. They got to where Eric is holding up, where they have looks like a ton of supplies. However, they have a lot of people, and you know, that stuff's gonna be worked through eventually. They go and they try to tell Eric, listen, we know up at Winnipesaukee, which I grew up kind of around there, and I've been there a few times, so it's kind of exciting to hear that. And they also mentioned Syracuse, which is near where I live, which I kind of love. But anyways, they talk about Winnipesaukee, and Clarissa says, listen, my family used to summer there. That's where all the rich people went. I know there's hangar with a ship. We can get out of here. We can go to Luna. Eric doesn't want to go. You know, he's worked really hard to build up this empire basically that he has there, and eventually Clarissa says to him, you know, I think she says like starting over isn't always bad, And eventually he realizes he has to go. I mean, he talks about being on the tower and watching the aftermath of everything. And, you know, like I said earlier, you can tell things are not good on Earth. He has to leave the planet. So he agrees to go with them to get them up to Winnipesaukee, and he will go with them to Luna, which I find very interesting. And I kind of like Eric. He's an interesting new character, and I'm excited to see where things go with him. And now we are at a cabinet meeting with the Secretary General, and they're discussing what they're going to do about Marco. What could his next plan be? What can we do? And Felix, the Admiral, he brings up, well, listen, there is a Belter station called Palace that has ties to Marco, would probably harbor him. I think we should destroy it. Well, it gets brought up that, well, it's gonna be a lot of casualties, and most of the casualties are gonna be not Marco sympathizers, just innocent people. And then the Secretary General says, well, we'll table it and we'll talk about it later. But then we see the two of them discussing pros and cons in private. So without Avasarala, and I can't imagine that that's going to go very well at all. Now we cut back to Drummer, and she's been given orders to engage any inners that she comes across. Of course, she's not thrilled by this, and you can tell just by the look on her face. But just then Naomi's signal comes through, the one that Marco planted, and she immediately is like, okay, we're going to set a course. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. We're going to save Naomi. Well, Carol speaks up and says, no, she's actually dead. Listen, she was on Marco's ship. When I was on Marco's ship, I know for a fact she died. She killed herself walking out of airlock. And this is a trap that you don't need to know too much about, but we're not going. So now Drummer is really mad, and she actually kind of starts to attack Carol, but of course Oksana stops her and is like, listen, we can't do this. We can't go down this road. We can't be attacking each other. Now we're back to Naomi, and she knows she has to do anything she can to stop Alex and Bobby from getting to her. She doesn't want them to get into this trap, of course. So what's she gonna do? I mean, she's got this suit which has no oxygen in it, but she can go in and out where there's no airlock or like there's no oxygen. So she has to like kind of hold her breath, and she's going out and she's going to the comms wires, and she's memorized the message and she's saying it over and over in her head, and she starts like messing with the comm wire. Well, it turns out she changes the message to say, this is Naomi Nagata, tell James Holden I am in control. So she has now changed the distress message. So hopefully, you know, Alex and Bobby are still receiving this, and maybe they'll realize there's something up. Now we're back to Drummer's ship, and Carol and Oksana are in the kitchen, kind of relaxing, discussing Naomi. I mean, Carol says, I used to be close with Naomi. She left us when we needed her most because she stopped believing in our cause. And that is when I realized she only cares about herself, which is crazy because she's saying this now, and we're seeing Naomi risking everything to stop her friends from getting hurt. And she doesn't care, you know, if she's going to die on her ship. She just doesn't want her friends to be a casualty as well. So it's kind of interesting that you see Carol saying she doesn't care about anyone but herself, but then you see Naomi doing literally anything she can to protect others. So I find that very interesting. I thought that was a fun little aspect of this episode. But as they are sitting there discussing Naomi, they get the changed distress signal. And right as the episode ends, you know, I think they've kind of figured out, they're looking at each other and they're like, is someone on the ship? Is Naomi alive? And that's how the episode ends. I personally loved this episode. I know some people might consider it almost a filler. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of interesting stuff in here. It's more leading up to what is sure to be an epic finale. I cannot wait for more. I really, really like that we've got Luna. We've got the UN. They're thinking about attacking innocents, and which is going to make them just as bad as Marco in my book. We've got Amos and Eric and Clarissa trying to get off Earth, and we've got this Naomi on a floating bomb just trying to get her friends to stay away from it, and of course a Drummer mixed in there as well. So there's a lot of really interesting, really awesome stuff going on, and I think it's all going to come together in the end. I stand by my prediction that the finale, the last episode, is going to have everybody coming together. I'm not sure that they'll actually fight Marco, so much as set up to fight Marco and take him down. We do know next season, unfortunately, is the last. So I do expect this season to end on quite a cliffhanger that's going to drive us all crazy waiting the year until it comes out. If you guys have already watched this episode, which I hope you have after I just spoiled everything for you, let me know down below in the comments what your predictions are. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. As always, you can follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Mama's Geeky over there. MAMASGEEKY. Thanks, guys.